What is going on, guys? We're back here with Chapter Day Bible Study, Genesis 11. I can't believe we're already on the 11th chapter, but let's get right into the reading. Universal language, Babel, confusion. Now the whole earth used the same language and the same words. It came about as they journeyed east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. They said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they used bricks for stone, and they used tar for mortar. They said, "Come, let us build for ourselves a city, and a tower whose top will reach into heaven, and let us make for ourselves a name. Otherwise we will be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." The Lord came down to see the city, and the tower which the sons of men had built. The Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they all have the same language." And this is what they began to do. And now nothing which they purpose to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, so they will not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. Therefore its name was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth. And from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of the whole earth, descendants of Shem. There are the records of the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and became the father of Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. And Shem lived 500 years after he became the father of Arpachshad, and he had other sons and daughters. Arpachshad lived 35 years and became the father of Shelah. And Arpachshad lived 403 years after he became the father of Shelah, and he had other sons and daughters. Shelah lived 30 years and became the father of Eber. And Shelah lived 403 years after he became the father of Eber, and he had other sons and daughters. Eber lived 34 years and became the father of Peleg. And Eber lived 430 years after he became the father of Peleg, and he had other sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and became the father of Reu. And Peleg lived 209 years after he became the father of Reu, and he had other sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years and became the father of Serug. And Reu lived 207 years after he became the father of Serug, and he had other sons and daughters. Serug lived 30 years and became the father of Nahor. And Serug lived 200 years after he became the father of Nahor, and he had other sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and became the father of Terah. And Nahor lived 119 years after he became the father of Terah, and he had other sons and daughters. Terah lived 70 years and became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the records of the generations of Terah. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran became the father of Lot. Haran died in the presence of his father, Charan in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldeans. Abram and Nahor took wives for themselves. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Sarah was barren; she had no child. Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his grandson, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son's Abram's wife, and they went out together from Ur of the Chaldeans in order to enter the land of Canaan. And they went as far as Haran and settled there. The days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Alright, everybody, I hope you all enjoyed the reading of Genesis 11. Now let's look at the points of emphasis. So the first point that we can gather from this chapter is that man decides to build a tower to the heavens. Now, we commonly refer to this as the Tower of Babel. It's a pretty well-known story in the Bible. This angers God, however, when they decide to build this tower and begin building this tower. They do make some pretty good progress on the tower, and why this enrages God or angers God is because they're basically making it to their glory, to show their power, to show that they can do anything. And that's not what God designed the human race to do. You know, we are meant to give glory to God, not to give glory to ourselves. That's why that angers God. So the second point, God confuses the language of the earth. So um, another reason why God does confuses the language of the earth is because the people weren't spreading out as commanded. God said when they got off the ark, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And they weren't really filling the earth. They were all staying together, building one great city. So God confuses the languages, so they're almost forced to spread out. Now, of course, they could have stayed together, but it would have made everything really confusing. So they decided to spread out, and, people with this language go here, and people with that language go there. And so that was kind of the jump start to, immigration or migration or whatever you want to call it. So then the third point, the chapter goes through a short genealogy. Again, I'm sorry if I botched any of the names. I'm sure I did. Not the best at reading Bible names. I'll be the first to admit that. But let's move on to the next point. People start to die earlier and reproduce earlier. So if you didn't notice in the chapter, we're throwing out some ages like parents having offspring at about 35 years old, while Noah, now this was an extreme case, but Noah didn't have his first child till 500 years old, and that is pretty old. Now, that was pretty abnormal, but you would see 200, maybe 150, some ages like that, but now we're seeing 35 years, and we're seeing people dying at 120, 130, 110. So lifespans are definitely becoming shorter and more compact, and that's just something to point out. Let's move on to the life application. So, give glory to God for your blessings. I say blessings because I didn't want to say for your accomplishments, because they're not truly your accomplishments. God blessed you with that accomplishment. If you are 20 years old and you make a product that sells to a company for $5 billion, you need to be giving glory to God, not giving glory to yourself, thinking, "Oh, I'm amazing. I'm 20 years old. I made $5 billion, and now I'm just going to go buy 10 Lamborghinis and a house in Florida and chill for the rest of my life." You need to be, giving your glory to God because He bestowed upon you so many resources, and with those resources, you're supposed to do profitable things and glorify God further with those resources. So, giving money to the church, obviously you'd have to tithe. And God probably doesn't want you to just sit in your lake house or your beach house in Florida for the rest of your life when you're 20 years old. He probably wants you to be active, donate to charities, start your own charity, start your own relief, whatever you want to do. But He doesn't want you to just sit in your house and get fat for, the next 80 years of your life or whatever. So that's something that we need to realize. They're blessings, not accomplishments. We didn't do anything to deserve them. We don't deserve any of our so-called accomplishments. They're really blessings from God, and we need to be thankful for every one of them, and we need to give glory to God for what He's enabled us to do. God enables you to do something. He gives you the strength to hit that home run. He gives you the knowledge to win that chess match. He gives you the wit to, outmaneuver someone in Risk, whatever it is. I'm struggling to think of analogies, but you get the point. He enables you to do different things in your life that you can be proud of and be thankful to God that He has enabled you to do that. So that's just my life application for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video with Genesis 12.